1, 2, 3. 3 count 4.
Hello everyone, I am Be Better Gamer and welcome to Be Better Gamer Wrestling, the channel dedicated to wrestling video games fueled by my love, passion, and obsession for them. Thank you so much for clicking on this video. I am playing WWF WrestleMania 2000 on the N64 and bringing you another one of my original CAW creations. And it is going to be none other than Jim the Anvil Neidhart. Continuing my theme of working on members of the Neidhart Foundation, Jim the Anvil Neidhart was inducted this year into the Hall of Fame 2019 class with Bret Hart as part of the Hart Foundation. So I'm going to bring you 4 outfits revolving around his time with the Hart Foundation, with Bret Hart. And the profile, music, moves, fighting style, all that stuff is typed out in a spreadsheet you can find in the description below. Make sure you check the description. I have a lot of useful links that I'll talk about later on in the video down there as long as the full call. But let's get right to the appearance. So I went with body size 5, tone 1 for his body size type. Ring attire 39. 19 and 21, so 19 is like light pink, 21 is actually dark black, but it actually looks a little bit better than the regular black color in this game. Upper body default 0 and 19, so tank top 19, a little pink outline for his tank top. Head 2, skin tone 1 as well. Don't really need to change anything there if you've already changed it on the body type. Face 36 was what I went with. There's probably 1 or 2 other choices you can go with, but I went with 36. Hair 1 is like the buzz cut. The closest you can get to the buzz cut. Neidhart always had his head shaved almost all the way down, almost completely bald. You don't have to change the front hair too, showing you there. It just stays blank, even no matter what you put, 1 through whatever. So it's just 12, but it doesn't really matter. Facial hair is 6. This was the tricky part. The tricky part was his face, head, and you know, he had a very unique look with the big beard, and they don't really have something like that, so I went with that beard to compensate for it. But he was always stroking his long beard, and that's what made him unique. This is all pretty generic: wristbands, elbow pads, and then the feet I went with 2 and 19, so white and light pink. And there you go. Pretty similar to my Bret Hart CAW. If you have seen my Bret Hart CAW, if not, make sure you check that out. You can click the I button if you want to complete the Hart Foundation for Bret the Hitman Hart and Jim the Anvil Neidhart. So the second outfit is the all pink outfit, and basically all I'm doing is changing the colors of his tank top and his ring attire to pink, light pink preferably, although I did put a normal pink color as the outline for his tank top. But there you go, no knee pads once again. Third outfit is basically just a reverse of the first outfit. So there, the first outfit was the top was black, the bottom was pink. Here the top is pink and the bottom is black. You saw these are pretty much the only variations you saw with Jim the Anvil Neidhart when he was part of the Hart Foundation. I was gonna do a new foundation outfit when he teamed with Owen Hart and he wore those like baggy pants, those like genie type pants, if you will. But I decided instead for my 4th outfit to do a classic Hart Foundation look. This is when Bret Hart and Jim the Anvil Neidhart first started tagging as the Hart Foundation. They actually wore black and blue. It was almost like a baby blue, like a light blue. And it didn't last long. Bret Hart would write in his book they changed over to pink because basically they wanted to get noticed. Everyone wore blue. Black and blue. There was nothing really different about that, but black and pink, no one really was wearing that. Real men wear pink is sort of the mentality, and it made them stand out. It went along with their theme, the Hart Foundation, their tag team finisher, the Heart Attack. And here is my Jim the Anvil Neidhart CAW for WrestleMania 2000. Let me know what you think. That's it for the physical appearance portion of the CAW. Once again, check the description for the link for the full CAW, where you can see it all typed out, as well as a bunch of other useful links that I will be talking about in a second. And let me know what you think. Again, this is not the perfect way to make him. This is not the best way to make him. This is simply just how I decided to make the Anvil Neidhart. Let me know in the comments how you made him, if you made any changes different from what I did here. And there's also a lot of mods out there that use textures imported into the game that you can play on emulators that have some really cool Jim the Anvil Neidhart creations. But why Neidhart? Why did I decide to make Jim the Anvil Neidhart? Well, if you've listened to me long enough, you know that the Hart Foundation is one of my favorite tag teams of all time. Here we go. We're going to do a tag team match, bringing in Bret Hart, my other CAW. Again, check the I button on the top right of the video if you want to check out my Bret Hart CAW. They were tag team champions in the WWE. They were the World Tag Team Champions, not to be confused with the WWE Tag Team Championship, which is now technically the Raw Tag Team Championship. I did a whole Let's Play in WWF No Mercy about the differences between the tag titles and what that meant. But if you are going with the WWF World Tag Team records, which they are two-time holders of that title, they held the title for a total of 483 days, ranked third behind Mr. Fuji and Professor Tanaka and Demolition. Speaking of tag teams, here come the new Age Outlaws. DX was also inducted into the Hall of Fame this year, 2019 class of Hall of Fame, so I decided to do a tag team match between the Hart Foundation and the New Age Outlaws, which we've never saw. We did see a feud between Hart Foundation and DX, which I'll talk about in a little bit, but never this tag team match. And another reason why I wanted to do a tag team, because you had tag team entrances in WrestleMania 2000, which we didn't get in WWF No Mercy, but we have them in all the other Aki games. And speaking of other Aki games, Jim the Anvil Neidhart is actually in WCW NWO Revenge. If you're a fan of the Aki series, you know that game. WCW NWO Revenge has both Jim the Anvil Neidhart and British Bulldog and Bret Hart, so 3 out of 5 of the Hart Foundation. Not too bad. I based most of the moveset on WCW NWO Revenge, but I changed a few things. I gave him a little bit more power moves, which I felt like he was lacking in WCW NWO Revenge, and I changed his finisher. In WCW NWO Revenge, he has the choke takedown, which in Revenge, you can make them tap with it. There's like 2 versions of it in Revenge. You can make them tap, and you can also pin them. But in WrestleMania 2000, it's just a standard choke. You can't really make them submit or pin with it in this one. I think they would put it back to a submission in No Mercy, if I remember correctly, or at least in Virtual Wrestling 2. So I did give him that as one of his regular strong moves, but I decided as his front special grapple to give him a bear hug, which he did on occasion, and for his back special, just a big walking side slam. Jim the Anvil Neidhart and Bret Hart would basically win a lot of the matches with tag team wrestling, specifically the Heart Attack, which isn't in this game, where Anvil will lift up one of the people they were wrestling, and then Bret Hart would come in with this like jumping neck breaker, sort of front neck breaker coming down, or jumping clothesline, however you want to call it. It was a great move, one of the best tag team moves of all time, in my opinion. Sometimes the Revival, they do it as a tribute, and really he won with like a big power slam sometimes when he was doing single stuff, like just a really big strong body slam. I mean, he is the Anvil after all, so I actually gave that to him as well. They have a variation of the big body slam in this game that is similar to what the Anvil used to do. It's also the same finisher I gave to the British Bulldog for the big power slam. But you know, he was an intimidating figure. Before wrestling, he had the shot put record in high school. He briefly played for the NFL, but after being cut from the NFL, that's when he went to go train with Stu Hart as part of the infamous Hart family dungeon. Because for you see, even though he was part of the Hart family dynasty, he actually married into the Hart family, marrying Ellie Hart, real name Elizabeth Hart. So that made him the real life brother-in-law of Bret Hart and Owen Hart and all the other rest of the Hart family members. It was also at his time training in the Hart family dungeon that he entered a anvil throwing contest. That's right, he threw an anvil over 11 feet and he won. I don't even think I can pick up an Anvil. They can range anywhere from like 75 to 500 pounds. He actually talks about this competition on an episode of the Chris Jericho podcast. So if you listen to the Chris Jericho podcast, look up the archives. He did one with Jim Neidhart and Natalia Neidhart, who is the daughter of Jim the Anvil Neidhart, and Tyson Kidd, who's married to Natalia. And they have a great conversation. It was actually one of the last recorded conversations that Jim Neidhart did before he passed away, unfortunately. But after Stampede was sold, that's when the Hart family sort of came together. Neidhart and Bret Hart started wrestling together in WWF. They actually didn't wrestle together in Stampede. They did face each other a couple of times, but they never formed a tag team until WWF. They made their first pay-per-view debut at WrestleMania 2 in a battle royal, being last eliminated by Andre the Giant. And again, that's what I based my fourth outfit on, was their old blue and black attire. There's actually some really cool Elite action figures from Mattel. I'm going to show them right here on the screen. I think these are awesome, of the Hart Foundation in their original attire. You can also get Jim Neidhart individually Elite action figure, which I think is really cool because it comes with, again, the old WWF World Tag Team Championship. And I'm highlighting these because, again, I'm in the description below. You can find links of these on Amazon, and they are Amazon affiliate links. What that means is if you purchase these figures through these links, you're actually supporting my channel. I get a little cut of that action, if you will. Not much, but any little bit helps. So if you think these figures are cool and you want to help support my channel, go ahead and buy them using these links on Amazon. There I go, defeating Road Dogg in short fashion, if you will, with the Hart Foundation against the New Age Outlaws. And if you want to see even more great Hart Foundation stuff, definitely check out the WWE Network. They have a great collection for Jim Neidhart. After he passed away, they added it on, and it shows a lot of the greatest hits of the Hart Foundation. A few things it's kind of missing. It has them winning against the British Bulldogs, their first championship, but that's when Dynamite Kid was injured, so it wasn't really much of a match. Watch a lot of their battles with the British Bulldogs. You can find a whole bunch of them on the network. Those are excellent. I love those matches, as well as some of their extra matches with the Rockers. They only have one part of that playlist. It's a good one, but they're missing a few others. And yeah, they have great matches with Demolition, the Brain Busters. They were just one of the best tag teams of all time. One of my favorite tag teams of all time to this day, which is why I had to make Jim the Anvil Neidhart. We're almost through the entire Hart Foundation. I guess I just need one more to do, and I think we all know which one that is. Make sure you follow me on Twitch. Leave a like, comment, subscribe. You've been on YouTube before. Follow me on social media at BeBetterGamer, twitch.tv/BeBetterGamer. And until next time, you know what to do. Keep watching all the wrestling. Thanks again, everyone. Have a great day.